With us is the CEO of Grant Thornton International, Ed Nusbaum. Thank you so much for coming in. And in terms of what we're seeing, and certainly some of the CEOs that we've had here on this show and on the move, they say, yes, it's been costly. We've actually suffered a little bit. But what it means is that the spread of democracy will mean that actually our growth prospects in the region will grow in 5-10 years. Is this something that you found speaking to your CEOs?
Yes, and when we talk to the CEOs, we hear exactly what we found in the survey, which is some short-term impact, negative impact on our business right now, 22% saying this is adversely impacting our business throughout the world, but this is where we want to be in the long term. There's long-term potential, and we're very optimistic about the impact over the long term.
When they talk about long term, is this 3-4 years down the line? Because we cover, for example, the Egyptian stock market every day, and it's still not that stable. It's stabilizing, but it's still in a process of.
Well, I think they're looking at the investments on a 3 to 5 year horizon, but at the same time, everybody in the region is saying, give it 6 months. After 6 months, we should see some stability. When we talk to clients in Egypt and other parts of the region, they're saying, we're delaying some of our M&A activity, we're delaying some of our stock offerings for 6 months. We think in 6 months things will be better.
And what are they concerned about? Still, again, because the situation is not completely stable, and in certain cases, we don't exactly know who's going to replace the old regime yet.
Yeah, it's the instability that creates the problems for business. It's hard to manage the risk, and every business is looking at their enterprise-wide risk management and the risks associated with investments within the region. And that's the concern that everybody has. And so we're all waiting, many of them are waiting. And I think, though, the opportunities are there to look at it now, consider what the options should be so you're prepared to go in 6 months or whenever it turns around, whenever the stability hits. You have to be swift to make those investments.
And if I speak to you in a couple of years, can you confidently tell me that actually what you think will come in the Middle East will be a more pro-democracy, pro-growth, and more economic advanced economies?
Well, I'm confident that there'll be more pro-democracy and business supported by the governments, but it's hard to completely predict it with any uncertainty.
Are there any countries which seem the most concerning, or where the CEOs you've been speaking to are saying, actually, I'm going to hold off a little bit until the situation is much more clear for me?
Well, I can tell you, even at Grant Thornton, we were looking at an investment in Libya. We've obviously delayed it quite some time. Syria is still difficult, but we're very optimistic about Egypt and many of the other countries in the region. We see some progress, and we're hoping, we're optimistic that the progress will spread throughout the entire region.
Do you have any figures on how much economic growth can actually expand in the region? Can we say, 10 years down the line, it's going to double in terms of GDP, or would that be too much?
Well, I think doubling is very realistic, and when we make our predictions, we're thinking that a doubling of GDP is very possible. But again, the difficulty is the instability and the uncertainty.
And the uncertainty, yeah, of course. Ed, thank you so much. Ed Nusbaum there.